Hey, experts listeners. I want to key you into something that we do very special here at Ops Experts Club, and that's a masterclass. We have a free masterclass called Foundations That Scale. And the great thing about this masterclass is it's for operation professionals who are growing businesses. One of the most dangerous things you can do as an operator is grow businesses on a foundations that's not stable. So in this particular masterclass, we take apart all of the inside pieces of your team, your tech, and how they're using time. And we make sure that you're building on a foundation that's stable. So if you want to check out a great masterclass completely for free, go to foundationsthatscale.com. We'll see you there.
Welcome to the Ops Experts Club with Aaron, Taryn, and Savannah. This podcast will take you behind the scenes of some of the finer details of multi-million-dollar companies. These ops experts have dealt with operations for scaling companies and well-established businesses with anywhere from small to large teams. If you've ever been deep into the details of a major company, then you know how much it takes, and these conversations are just for you. Welcome to the Ops Experts Club podcast.
Woo! Ops Experts Club. Taryn, how you doing today, brother?
I'm better now. I got my whoop for the week.
Is it, I was wondering, is it because you got my whoop? Because I think, there are a lot of people that stand in line for my whoops.
Yeah, they do. I can see why. I mean, it brings a smile to my face.
At all, bro. No, you didn't sell that at all. You didn't sell that at all. And we're not talking about whoops on the band, Taryn. We're talking about whoops out of my lips. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of people that stand in line for that kind of nonsense.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, man. Well, I'm excited to be back with us today. Ops experts, thanks for tuning in. Our guest today is a pretty special dude. He's become a really good friend of mine. I met him in Pete Vargas's mastermind called The Wellspring. Mark is a young dude, but he's a CEO of a couple of great businesses out there, Stoltzfus Structures and Horizon Structures. What makes his spin a little bit different is he comes from Amish country and he didn't just move there, he's from there. And so I think that he's got some great stuff to share with us, some great tricks to the craft, tricks to the trade, and some insights from Amish country. So Taryn, let's bring to stage our good friend, Mark Zook.
Boom.
There it is. Mark, welcome, man.
Thank you. Great to be here. Thanks for letting me join.
Nice to meet you, Mark.
Absolutely. Yes. So Mark, you should tell us a little bit about your story, just of Solstice Structures, Horizon Structures, maybe like the difference between the two. Like, is it a family business? How'd you become CEO? Maybe give us some good origin story because we're excited to hear from you. And you're a young dude, right? Like, are you even 30 yet?
Yes, 32.
Oh, dang it. Just over the threshold. Taryn, how old are you?
35.
There it is. So, I mean, just a little younger than Taryn, way younger than me. Okay, so go ahead. Mark, tell us your story.
Absolutely. So grew up Amish, the youngest of 9. So I got quite a few siblings. Our family is very entrepreneurial. My dad actually bought the business from Stoltzfus, the super popular name in Lancaster County. So he bought the business almost 50 years ago. So grew up pretty much in the business. Growing up Amish, I love the heritage. It taught me a lot. My parents are still Amish. None of my siblings are Amish. So kind of just a little bit of how that is. So growing up, my siblings left the Amish. So as a kid, I knew I was going to leave the Amish once I turned 16. So grew up right in Lancaster County, which is kind of the heart of Amish culture or Amish country. Our family was a little bit different. So like, even though I was Amish, I would have went to like a private Mennonite school. So I got out a little bit more than, most Amish families, but grew up in the business. A lot of the Amish, typically you just go to school till 8th grade. So I went to school till 8th grade. And then after that, I started working full time. So before that, I would typically work around the business in the summer when school is out and loved it. But once 8th grade was over, I pretty much went into full-time work. So at 14, I was working full-time. So worked in our company for a couple of years in the company. And then once I got my driver's license, I would have left the Amish when I was 16 and got my license, started driving. And then from there, it just kind of transitioned to going out in the field, doing on-site setups. So typically we can drive, 6 to 8 hours from our location here in Pennsylvania. And we'll do like on-site setups for different buildings. From there, I did that life for about 2.5 years. And after having no schedule for 2.5 years, you kind of start looking for a schedule. And by what I mean by no schedule, typically working anywhere from 60 to 80 hours a week, we would start at midnight, we'd drive 5, 6 hours, get to the job site at daylight, and then work a full day and then drive six hours back home again. So I loved it while I did it. Now looking back, I would want no part of it, but what it did do, it instilled a great work ethic. And that's one of the things the Amish are there for. We're blessed to have great work ethic, blessed to have a lot of great team members with amazing work ethic. So worked here, from there, transitioned from being on the road to wanting more of a schedule. So I moved into the office, and from there, just kind of went from drafting to sales to kind of behind the scenes. I love operations, so this is perfect. I think Aaron, you and I talk the same language when it comes to operations. Love figuring out problems, figuring out how to make things work better. Probably one of the things that I don't do as well is like visionary brainstorming, things like that. So love figuring out problems, figuring out solutions, how to make things work better. And then within the last about 2 years, I took over my brother's spot as CEO of Stoltzfus Structures. About 5 years ago, I took over as CEO of Horizon Structures. So that's currently where I'm at. I'll explain a little bit of the difference between the two companies. So Stoltzfus Structures, our main location is in Ashland.
No, you should let us pause you right there because there's too many questions around there. If you give us much more, then we're going to have much artillery. So Taryn, I always talk too much. So you go first, Taryn, and then I'll ask my questions.
I mean, that was a great origin story. I mean, it's really cool to see you just working up through the company. Was there a spot ever in there somewhere where you weren't working for this company, family company? Like you got any experience elsewhere, or this was all just built in from this one, company?
This would have been all built in. I would have done some traveling in the meantime, nothing serious, maybe a month or two, like in the winter where, I would go to Asia, India, kind of different ministry trips. As far as work itself, I only worked here.
Awesome. How did you, bro, you're the youngest. Like, how does the youngest work up to the top of the food chain? I feel like how many brothers and sisters, that's a lot of shoulders and falling backs you got to climb on and like get out of the way to get up to the top. How did you ascend from being the youngest to the spot where the youngest, I feel like you're like a Joseph story. Like how did you get all the way to the point where the rest of your brothers and sisters are like, yeah, he's the heir apparent. Like he seems to be the dude. And then when it comes to CEO, you said you took over for your brother a couple of years ago. In your culture, do you just hold CEO for a window of time and then you would pass it off to somebody else? Or like, how does like legacy work?
So yeah, so the combination of both. So we have kind of multiple companies. So I'm involved as a partner in 2 companies. And then there's another company called Zook Cabins that 2 of my brothers and my dad are partners at. My oldest brother, so little backstory, I got 5 sisters. None of them were involved in the business. I have 3 brothers and we're all involved in the business. And we have a few different companies. So 2 of my brothers and my dad are involved in Zook Cabins.
Yeah.
My brother had like a syndication business. That was his main thing. Yeah. So we all work together really well. And we all kind of have multiple lanes that we're part of. So it was one of those things where my brother Jonathan, he was the current CEO of Stoltzfus. He was getting pulled towards helping at Zook Cabins as well. So some of his attention was kind of getting diverted. So he wasn't spending as much time here. So that's kind of when I stepped in and took over. So it's all working together. We love working together as a family or as brothers. And we figured out that instead of focusing on each other's problems, if we all kind of stay in our own lane and we all do our thing that we're good at, seems to work out pretty well.
Love that. I wish more businesses and more families actually operated like that. I think it'd be a lot healthier of a scenario for sure. Taryn, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, that sounds incredible just to get to work with family and in a family business like that. And, kind of switching spots with your siblings and, ascending together too and learning together and feeding off of each other because you got multiple businesses so you can learn from each other too. And it's a pretty unique space to be in.
Love that. Okay, now you can tell us Soltzfus, Horizon. Tell us the difference of the two.
So the Stoltzfus structures, what the main difference is, we manufacture and retail at Stoltzfus. So we have about a 66,000 square foot shop here where we're building garages, sheds, outdoor living structures, saunas, backyard offices, pretty much any outdoor structure. So we manufacture it and then we're also retail. So we do about 90% direct to the homeowner. Our other company, Horizon Structures, we are 100% retail and do no manufacturing. So what the Amish are really good at is they're really good at building things. And a lot of companies or a lot of Amish companies don't want to retail.
Yeah.
So basically at Horizon, we are then their retail arm. So which allows us to work with different sub shops throughout the US. So we have a couple sub shops in, like Wyoming, South Carolina, Kentucky, a couple in Pennsylvania. And then it allows us to reach a broader range of the US by working with a different sub shop. So we sell some of the similar products. Horizon is more focused on animal structure. So like horse barns, dog kennels, chicken coops, more on that space. Stoltzfus would be more on like the sheds, garages, backyard structures.
So cool. And see, I know like I have some really close friends, you and I've talked about them down in Belize, Mennonite community. Obviously a lot of trust and a lot of real willingness to work together because there's so much trust in there. Do you feel like with Horizon, that's really what you played on is like finding these communities throughout the US that are great at making crafts, like great craftsmen, but not necessarily great marketers or retailers. And therefore, but they trust you because of Amish lineage, because of like the culture of like just people that understand that come from that same worldview. And therefore there's a better trust for you taking their product to market. Do you feel like that's the jam?
100%. And I would say most, if not all of the sub shops are either Amish or Mennonite. It's not like we don't do business with other people outside of the Amish and Mennonite. It's just that from the experience that we've had, like the quality, the manufacturing capabilities, it's just a lot better. So I think all of our sub shops are either Amish or Mennonite.
You're so freaking smart, bro. Way to play both sides of it. Way to build and have some retail, and then just to be a retailer and band together all the people where there's just cultural understanding both ways, right? They understand you and trust you. You understand their craftsmanship and trust them because there's a big piece of that, right? Because it's going to be your brand name that gets like hurt if their stuff doesn't turn out good. So I think kudos to you, man. That's beautiful. I love both arms of that.
Thank you.
It's cool. And as someone with 3 horses and 35 chickens, I was browsing through those websites being like, oh yeah, I'll take one of those. I can use 2 of them.
I love it.
I was drooling a little bit before this call.
As somebody that doesn't have any horses or any chickens, I'm still impressed. So I just want you to know you're impressing both of us.
Hey, we can get you a sauna or a greenhouse, or we got something, or a pavilion, pergola. You need something.
Oh man, Jared, I'll let you take our first set of questions on lessons learned, some of that stuff. And then I'm going to swing around on what makes Mark excited because he's got some pretty exciting stuff that he gets excited about.
Yeah. So, I mean, I love the idea of kind of being a sub shop and connecting with different people. Operationally, what probably was the biggest thing you had to solve for to kind of expand that part of the business while not exactly being in charge because you're expanding 2 other businesses. And so there's things you can't control when, you're feeding work to other people. What do you think was a big roadblock you hit that kind of allowed that to excel to where it is?
A lot of it comes back to what you were saying, Aaron, as far as like the trust part of it. It is one of those things it's kind of interesting to see, like we can see the manufacturing and retail side of it. And then we also see the retail only side of it. And there's pros and cons to both. One of the, disadvantages of being retail only is when COVID happened, everything like boom. So then we have, 10 other people that are selling the same exact product that we are. And, obviously the tide, caused everyone to rise, which then increased our lead times. The shops didn't give us as much supply as we would have wanted to because now everyone's asking for supply. On the flip side of the pros are you can have serious growth and not feel the pain as much as if you're manufacturing at retail. Like, for instance, last year, Horizon, we had about 50% growth, and it was very manageable because we had, 6 sub shops that we could spread it across.
Yeah.
Whereas it's been all retail manufacturing on our end, you'd have felt that growth a lot more. At the end of the day, the truck part played a huge thing in that.
Wow.
Dude, I love your business model. That's so freaking smart. So creating redundancies so that as you grow, you don't necessarily have to worry about how big you're flexing as long as you understand the percentage of opportunity that each one of your sub shops can bear, or when you need to start finding other sub shops that can start picking up the slack once you reach capacity. Is that kind of how it works?
And when you look at the amount of, sales wise, we're getting close to the same in both companies. The amount of work that it takes to run Stoltzfus versus Horizon is like day and night different. But, the margins aren't as good because you're not manufacturing, but it's a whole different.
But bro, you're the Amish Costco, bro. You don't need to make high margins. You're able to spread it out like it's so it doesn't become like doesn't it kind of turn into that model at some level where it's like on Stoltzfus side of things, it's very much around we build this certain kind of thing and we sell this certain kind of thing. On the Horizon side of things, there's a lot of things we build and sell, and it's a volume play. So it's like the more we sell, that's actually how we grow on this side. Whereas on this side, there might be a deeper margin in the things that you're building, but on this side, it's thinner margin but more numbers. Would you say that's the comparable from an economics?
100%.
That's great. Does marketing? Do you feel like you have to focus on marketing on one versus the other more than the other, Horizon versus Stoltzfus, or do you feel like you put about the same amount of marketing into both? And it's probably a different kind of marketing, right? A little bit, or do you find the same kind of marketing?
Marketing percentages are similar. One thing that helps Stoltzfus is because we've been around so long. So we have a lot of repeat business, word of mouth. I would say at Horizon, we're more nationwide than Stoltzfus. So Stoltzfus is like East Coast. Horizon would be more nationwide. So the marketing is spread wider.
Have you ever thought about my friends down in Belize and just being like it's almost like you could have a whole nother business model where it was like you're building Stoltzfus, you're retailing Horizon, but also you could be going into these countries where Mennonites have spread out and being like, hey, would you like me to teach you our business model so that you could replicate that on a scale here within your own country where it's like this is how we do marketing. This is how we retail for multiple sub shops, because the pain points you're experiencing here, very, very likely they're experiencing in other countries outside of just what you're doing here. And could I get you to buy a house next to me in Mahogany Bay? And then we could be best friends and we could vacation at the same time. That's all I want to know.
Hey, as long as Mahogany Bay is in there, I would imagine we could make something work.
That's what I'm talking about.
We haven't explored out of the country, but it's one of those things where we've definitely talked about it in the US. One of the things that we've talked about is so Lancaster is kind of the shed capital of the East Coast. So if you go to North Carolina or Maine, a lot of the buildings that you see there come from Lancaster. It's one of those things where like, is it worth going into, let's say, Alabama and starting a shop where you have to pay more for materials, you have to pay more for labor, or are we better off building here and shipping?
Yeah.
So we've kind of went with the route of building here and shipping because there's so many good resources, so much good labor here in Lancaster. And like, let's say for dog kennels, we'll ship dog kennels all the way from here to California, which seems crazy. At the end of the day, we can ship it. We pay whatever $30,000 in shipping, depending on the size. And they get a kennel in California and it's half the price of what it would have cost to build it out there. So that's kind of one of the things that we have to battle between is like, hey, build here and expand, or do we expand into other areas?
I love that. Dang. I love that.
Man, we're running out of time. So, Mark, tell us what you're excited about, because our listeners probably are like, wait, you just freaking blew my mind. You just got into what? We were just talking about outbuildings for cattle, and now we're talking about something totally different. So tell us about what we were talking about a little earlier about what makes you excited right now in business.
Two of the things that I'm excited about, we kind of got into the luxury sauna business. I didn't realize there was a market for this. We're talking a little 8x10 sauna. You can buy a kit online for like 6-7 grand. The ones that we're building 8x10, they're like 50 grand.
Yeah.
So it's a very luxury sauna, something that I didn't realize there was that much of a market for. What we've seen definitely blew our minds, and I think we're just starting. We had somebody check out, this blew my mind. Somebody checked out, bought a sauna, paid in full online, never talked to someone. Total bill was like 49 grand. And
Crazy.
put it in the shopping cart, paid in full, done without talking to anyone. That blew my mind. So I think if we can capture that market well, I think there's definitely opportunity there.
Dude, that's so badass. Okay, so what's the other thing that makes you excited?
Other thing, we've gotten into large dog kennels where like towns, different shelters, federal agents need like multiple kennels. I guess I don't know if it's due to COVID, everyone got a dog and now the shelters are like overflowing. So in the last year, we've got maybe 3 $2 million jobs that came through. So the different towns, different counties that are like, hey, here's an order for $2 million worth of dog kennels.
Wow.
And from what we hear, the demand is out there. So we're trying to figure out how to get in front of more counties, towns, federal agencies that need border patrol dogs, things like that. So 2 business opportunities that I'm pretty excited about.
Taryn, have we even ever, I feel like he's blowing my brain out. I'm like, what are we even talking about right now? Like just such a different business model, but at the same time, so like, I think the things Taryn probably highlights, we could talk about just a minute here as we wrap up at the end, like such uniquely simple ideas. Like I'd love that what he's doing is, no, they've created a niche. This is what they're going after, but they have a very simple way of ABC. This is how it comes together, and they're staying in that. I think that's something that really stands out to me of like Amish built, going after a certain avatar that's looking for a very certain thing, but also really trying to use all your resources in the best way to bring those products to market. I think that's such a cool, keep it simple, right? Don't try and offer the world everything. Like be very specific in what you're going for. Taryn, any standouts to you today?
I mean, I always just enjoy, operations is operations wherever you go and wherever you came from.
Yeah.
I mean, Mark, you're insider of this company. It's your sole experience. You didn't go out and work for 5 different businesses for different years. You didn't get all these different degrees. You learned from within, and the things you learn apply, across any business. I'm sure as you talk with Aaron and the different clients he's worked with, it all applies no matter where you are or where you learned it from.
Yeah. Yes.
100%.
So smart, Mark. Mark, if people want to get a hold of you, if people wanted to see the magic that Taryn's drooling about, where do you want them to be looking for either Stoltzfus or Horizon? Do you have spots where you want them to be looking, or if they want to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you?
So my email, mark@mysheds.com, pretty simple. You can reach out to us, through our websites. Mysheds.com is for Stoltzfus structures, because trust me, people wouldn't know how to spell Stoltzfus. We have Horizon structures, and then the sauna is Arbor Saunas.
That's awesome. I love it, dude. Thank you so much for being a guest. I feel like such a young guy, have so much great experience and like just so bright. I've really loved just getting to know you and becoming good friends. I know not only are you and Pete Vargas's mastermind with it, but we're actually in a pod together, which is just cool just to get to know you and get to see the way you love family, to see how much of a growth minded dude you are. I feel like of all the guys that I've met within Wellspring, you're just so hungry for and realizing, hey, I just want to learn. Like, who can I sit with and learn? Like, who can I grow and learn from? And I feel like that's just obviously served you so well. And I'm excited to see it continue to serve you in the years to come, man. So thank you for spending some time with us today on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all as well. Really do.
Yeah. Well, ops experts, thanks so much for joining us, Taryn Turner. As always, such an honor. You're a
Absolutely.
noble gentleman, and I appreciate you being my co-host on the show. And we'll see you guys back here on Ops Experts next week. Thanks so much.
Sure. See ya.
Thank you for tuning in to the Ops Experts Club podcast. New episodes available every week on Spotify, iTunes, and everywhere you listen to podcasts. If you're curious about how some of the biggest names in entrepreneurship have scaled their businesses to the next level, check out some of our best content on this topic by going to foundationsthatscale.com. You can find the link in our bio and do your part to improve as an ops expert.